Welcome back to Tony's Lost History channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to our channel, and hit the notification bell to be notified of upcoming videos. Let's get started in the first installment of the Traces of Factual History series. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. This is one of Malcolm X's famous quotes. Malcolm Little was born on May 19, 1925, in Omaha, Nebraska. Malcolm Little, who later became known as Malcolm X, went to jail for a variety of criminal activities during his early life. Malcolm struggled with drug addiction. He was involved in criminal activities, including drug possession and drug trafficking, which eventually led to his arrest and imprisonment. He was first incarcerated in 1946 at the age of 20 for burglary charges in Massachusetts. During his time in prison, he became exposed to the teachings of the Nation of Islam, a black nationalist religious organization, and underwent a transformation that eventually led him to become a prominent civil rights leader and advocate for African American rights and empowerment. Malcolm X's time in prison was a pivotal period in his life as he educated himself and became deeply committed to the struggle for racial justice and equality. Malcolm X's decision to change his name was symbolic of his rejection of his slave name, Little, and his embrace of his newfound Muslim faith and black identity. The X in his name represented the unknown African name that had been lost to him and other African Americans due to the history of slavery. Later in his life, after his split from the Nation of Islam and his conversion to Sunni Islam, Malcolm X adopted the name El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, signifying another phase in his spiritual and personal journey. Malcolm X played a significant role in the civil rights movement in the United States, but he had a different approach and philosophy compared to other prominent civil rights leaders of his time. Malcolm X was a vocal advocate for the rights and empowerment of African Americans, but he did so from a perspective of black nationalism and self-defense. Malcolm X's approach to civil rights advocacy evolved over time. After leaving the Nation of Islam and converting to Sunni Islam, he became more open to working with other civil rights leaders and organizations. He moderated some of his earlier positions and began to advocate for unity among African Americans and a broader, more inclusive struggle for civil rights. Malcolm X was assassinated at the Audubon Ballroom in New York City on February 21, 1965. He was delivering a speech to a large crowd when gunmen opened fire, killing him. 3 members of the Nation of Islam was charged and sentenced to killing Malcolm X. Talmadge Hayer, also known as Thomas Hagen, was caught at the scene and was one of the gunmen who fired shots at Malcolm X. He was arrested and later confessed to his involvement in the assassination. Hayer's arrest and confession were critical in solving the case. Norman III X. Butler, later known as Muhammad Abdul Aziz, and Thomas 15 X. Johnson, later known as Khalil Islam, were also arrested and convicted for their roles in the assassination. They were accused of aiding and abetting Talmadge Hayer and the other assailants. In 1987, Talmadge Hayer signed an affidavit naming the actual individuals responsible for the assassination, confirming the innocence of Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam. In light of this new evidence, both Aziz and Islam were released from prison in the 1980s after serving lengthy sentences. The case of Malcolm X's assassination remains a complex and historically significant event with ongoing debates and investigations surrounding it. Hayer's affidavit contributed to the reconsideration of the case. Despite Hayer's confession and the subsequent investigations, the full truth about who was responsible for the assassination of Malcolm X remains a subject of debate and controversy. Malcolm X's life and legacy have been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, films, and songs. His speeches and writings continue to be widely studied and quoted, ensuring that his ideas remain relevant in popular culture. Malcolm X's advocacy extended beyond U.S. borders. His support for anti-colonial movements and his criticism of American foreign policy in the 1960s continue to resonate with those engaged in global social justice and anti-imperialist efforts. Malcolm X's impact today can be seen in the ongoing struggle for racial equality, the promotion of Black identity and empowerment, and the broader discussions surrounding social justice, identity politics, and human rights. His ideas and legacy continue to inspire individuals and movements around the world in their pursuit of justice and equality.